Yep.
All right. Hey, what's going on, man? This is Will Z Titwell with Speak Up Z, and you are now tuned in to another episode of ZeeSpeaks Podcast, man. The show where we talk about everything, from life to business to mental health, and to all just the dope shit that's going on in the world, man. And you know what, man? It's a new year, and we're gonna do things a little bit differently. Cause y'all know last year, man, I know y'all probably got tired of seeing my face every day. I was always on here talking about this and talking about that, and I said, you know what, man? I told my team, I said, I want to do something different. I said, because when I started my platform, I promised that I wanted to be a resource and I wanted to be a tool and I wanted to be, that beacon to show all the dope shit going on in my city, in my state, and in my country, right? And so, man, what better way to pop that off than with this new segment called Neighborhood Heroes? And this segment is where we get to highlight small businesses, creatives, nonprofit leaders, community leaders, anybody else, man, that's doing dope things in their community. And I got a special guest for y'all today, man. Somebody that I've been knowing going on 10 years, feels like something like that, man. We've been knowing each other for a while, and she's always been a dope and bright spirited person that's doing amazing things. But what she's doing now for our Black women, right? For our creatives, for those women that are really moving and shaking, it's unbelievable. And so what better way to pop off the show than with Miss Drekkia Wrights. Drekkia, what's going on?
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's the poet, the artist, the creator, and energy curator, Drekkia Wrights. And
Oh my
5050.
gosh.
So, what's up? First of all, I just want to commend you because you definitely got one of those quiet storm voices. I'm like, man, why am I feel mesmerized. That's appropriate. Like, wait.
Come on, man.
I need to be listening to.
Come on, man. You know I can turn it on and off easily. Easily can turn it on and off. But no, man, this is long overdue.
Right. Well, first of all, I want to say, like, I'm just excited to be on here with you right now because I always think back to just how we met and just to see how you evolved over time. Like, I just want to give you your flowers and sprinkle all of the good success dust on you because, man, you've been really out here putting in work, being consistent and showing up. And I just want you to know, man, you inspire me. Because when I first met you, actually, it was Miss King. She had reached out and she was like, "Oh, I got this student. He's very great with poetry, and I know you used to do poetry. He's about to do this scholarship competition. I want you to come in here and talk to him." And I remember coming to East End and like just meeting you for the first time, and you just always had a bright light and spirit about yourself, and you've always used your voice. So I think it's just really dope that right now, right here, I'm with the Speak Up Z Speaks, Mr. Will Tidwell. But yeah, I'm glad to be.
I'm happy to have you. Because you don't make a gangster cry, man, on my own show, man. This the king pop off the 2023 with the tears, But now that means a lot to me, man. And it's crazy because it's funny, how sometimes we see each other evolve, because even you, like, you've come so far, and what you started out doing, because it's crazy how sometimes in entrepreneurship and us being creatives, people try to put us into a box, right? Drekkia's just a poet. Drekkia's just an energy curator. Drekkia is just a public speaker. She's just this. And it's like, no, I can be multiple things all at once. And I can show multiple of my talents and multiple of my gifts. And you can't put me in this certain space just because you want to, just because you don't understand all that I am. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, man, it's a blessing, man. It's an honor, and I'm happy to have you. But for the people that don't know Drekkia Wrights, tell them a little bit about who you are and what it is that you do. Tell them a little bit.
Well, y'all, just to give y'all the boring stuff, I'm Drekkia Wrights. I was born and raised in Southwest Little Rock, Arkansas. Shout out to all my people from Southwest.
Shout out to the people.
Yeah, I graduated from the University of Central Arkansas. I actually got my degree in business administration. I majored in insurance and risk management. No, I do not use that degree, but that's up because by nature, I'm an artist. All right. So I've always used the art of poetry to help myself just come out of my shell and build my speaking skills. So right now, I currently have a business, an educational consulting firm where I offer creative-based professional and personal development. So I use the art of poetry to help facilitate team building workshops, to help with conflict resolution, to help, youth educators get more channeled with what's going on with them so that they can better show up in the classroom. And I work with students directly as well. And that business is called 7 of Arts. Like I said, by nature, I'm an artist. I've always just used the arts to elevate the people. My my motto in life is to educate, entertain, and empower people. So I'm the master motivator, the ego stroker, and doubt choker. If you come around me, I will push you off a mountain, and you'll be surprised to see yourself fly. But I stand
Wow.
on the talent that God has given me,
Yeah.
and I just look forward to walking in the beauty and the light of all that.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, let me ask you this before we get into, the many talents and the many gifts and the platform that you've built. How did you go from majoring in, what did you say it was? Yeah, you ain't just finna skip over that. You ain't know.
I have a BBA, a Bachelor's of Business Administration, but my major was insurance and risk management.
So how did Drekkia go from how did young Drekkia go from, what, I want to major in this and do this to now being able to use the arts to literally fund your life? How did you go from this to that? And what was that moment when you realized, you know what, I don't want to do that? What was that moment for you?
Yeah, well, I'll say I've always known I wanted to own a business. In middle
Yeah.
school, I used to always say I want to have a youth program and I want to own apartment complexes. So when I did go to college, I knew I wanted to go for something that I could use. At least that's what I was thinking. Because I've always done poetry. It's something that I always did, but I was never going to go to college to major in poetry. That sounds crazy.
Yeah.
Or English. It was
Yeah.
never going to be my lane.
Yeah.
But when I started my Bachelor's of Business Administration degree, it was just a general degree at first. And I remember being in class and this girl named Christensen, she came and Christensen is
Christensen.
Christian Henderson. She came and she was talking to us about like claims adjusting, and like the way she sold it, I'm just like, okay, I think I need to switch. And plus they were just saying like, getting a general BBA degree wouldn't set you up for success in the career field. So I immediately declared insurance and risk management as my major, and mainly because I'm a problem solver. So the whole idea of managing risk, that's always been in my area. Like I'm always trying to plan and think for how can I curve the risk of anything. So in a sense, I do use the things that I learned to help like mitigate risk and plan for the future for myself.
Absolutely.
Since I was in high school, and you notice I've been doing poetry. Like I was organizing our school level poetry out loud competition, which was part of a national entity.
Yeah.
I did poetry workshops. I had a poetry club. I did the poetry slams. When I graduated, matter of fact, my job was teaching poetry and creative writing in the after school program.
You were on a national winning poetry team. We're not gonna skip over that. You won like nationals with this. Yeah,
right. Before I graduated high school, I was part of Foreign Tongues, and we traveled and we did this big competition called Southern Fried. But yeah, that too. So it's always been just in my blood to do poetry. So when I graduated college, it was so crazy to me. Every job that I applied for in my degree field, I never got. Like, I feel like when I was doing my resumes, all of my resumes just reflected an arts educator. So I'm like, okay, maybe God's stay in this lane because it is naturally. It's nothing that I have to think twice about. Like, it's just that. So I'm like, man, I'm just gonna let my talent make room for me. So last year, working with the Arkansas Arts Council as the Arts and Education Program Manager for the state of Arkansas, and that was a beautiful experience too because, like I said, in high school I was organizing the school level poetry out loud competition, but as the Arkansas Arts and Education Program Manager, I got to organize the state level one. So it was a big full circle moment to do that. But at the end of my 2 years with the Arts Council, I always knew it was going to be a building block for me because I believe in getting in and learning the lay of the land and understanding what's going on in the background, because when you have more knowledge, you got more knowledge that you can effectively apply. So in that space, I got to learn so much. I got to put my own ideas on somebody else's dollars. And, every job I go into anyway, I'm always looking to build a skill. So once 100%. I felt like I felt that urge from God, and I got to tell you, it came from God, because when I decided I was going to leave and do my business full time, I've always done this, but I never full time. But when I decided I was going to jump out there with both feet, when I tell you I was sitting at work, I was at work planning out my little schedule for the next year. I was like, okay, we're gonna do this that day. I'm gonna get this panelist for this event. I'm gonna bring Z back in for
Mm-hmm.
poetry out loud. I'm gonna get
Mm-hmm.
him to do a workshop.
Mm-hmm.
Man, at my desk, planning for the next year, and something just came to me and said, girl, you're not even gonna be here that long.
I'm not even gonna be
In
here that
2 months,
long.
you're not even gonna be here that long. And that season of my life, I decided to start honoring what I feel in my spirit, because the body does not lie to you. And when I tell you I quit, and I didn't have no plan, I didn't have no contracts lined up, I didn't have not a motherfucking thing, baby. I didn't have nothing saved up, but I just knew, like, man, God gonna make a way. Like, I got something inside me that is deep. Like, I feel it strongly. You know, I know how to execute and do things that I want to do. So I'm just gonna jump out here on the off the porch and see how it
And just
turned
see what
out.
happens.
Because let's see
Wow.
how it goes.
You know what's so
And when
crazy?
I
You
tell you,
said so many gems in that dream. Like it's almost crazy. But the first thing I wanted to ask you about what you just said is, like, you apply for all these different jobs in the field that you got your degree in, right?
yeah,
Right. And you went after this thing until you sat back one day and you looked at your resume and you said, you know what? Nothing here says that I should be doing insurance claiming or adjusting.
right.
Right. And then what do you think there are a lot of people out there, or what would you say to those people out there that know they got this gift, they know they got this talent, it's right in front of them, just like your resume was. It's telling them everything in them that this is what they're supposed to be doing. What would you tell that person that's playing it safe on trying to get what's a
I would
sure
say,
thing, or trying to get that degree to think they can get this safe job because their parents told them to, but they're not even happy or they're not even fulfilled? What would you tell that person?
man, first of all, the first thing I would tell them too is, like, man, you have to really stop and do some unlearning, first of all, because I feel like we've been groomed to believe that we have to go a certain way in life in order to be successful. We believe that we have to go to college and get a good job in order to live a good life. But
Yeah.
sometimes the thing that's going to make you successful and allow you to live that good life is you doing something that's unorthodox. And something that's unorthodox is believing in yourself. Because believe it or not, people don't believe in themselves. It actually takes, you got to have some big balls to, like, bet on yourself and believe that your own talent that came from your own body is going to make way for you to eat, to sleep, to be able to clothe yourself, bathe yourself. You got to have, when I say big balls, big faith to do something like that. It takes a lot. So it's unorthodox. So to the people who may be struggling, I would tell them, unlearn the bullshit that you've already been taught and start asking yourself, what is it that you really want? What do you really want? Like, in your heart of hearts, what is that thing that you want? And when you decide what it is that you want, you just have to pursue it. And I know the initial thought of it will be scary. Let's say you do want to get out there and be an entrepreneur or do your business full time.
Yeah.
And not everybody wants to do this, first of all. So I don't push entrepreneurship, first of all. If your job is to help make, absolutely go follow that. But let's say you did want to do this entrepreneurship world. You may be scared and you may think, you may think of all the things that may go wrong, but to reroute your way of thinking and think about all the things that could go right. Because
100%.
when you let that fear consume you, it'll rob you of opportunities.
100%.
So to anyone who's teeter-tottering about what it is that they want to do, if you got something inside you, if you felt it, hey, that's God trying to confirm something for you. And you got to be brave enough to pursue that feeling, because you don't want to go to your grave not having pursued that thing, or you don't want to go to your grave unhappy.
100%. 100%. That's one of the biggest, things that scare me in life, is like, sometimes we're so pressed about trying to make our parents happy and make our family happy and impressing other people. And then you look up one day and you realize, but I'm not happy. I did all this stuff to make sure they was happy and make sure they was straight. But now I'm unfulfilled because I was going after stuff that I didn't even want. You see what I'm saying? I think that's one of the worst feelings in the world. You know what I mean? And you said something else that was a super gem about for those people that may have a 9-to-5 job. Because I feel like nowadays society is like, tried to downplay people that do have a job and do work for somebody else as if that's a bad thing. And when honestly, if you're making money and you getting up hustling, that's the most important part, first of all. Right. But you said something so important about when you did work for the Art Council. even though you knew that you wouldn't be there forever, you went in there with the mindset of I'm not going to just ride the clock and get a paycheck. No, I'm going to learn their systems. I'm going to learn how they do business. I'm going to learn how to do contracts. I'm going to learn how to set these meetings up. So when I do make the leap out here on faith, then I'm good because I've already sat inside this system long enough to understand how business works. And I think a lot of people that do have this aspiration of starting a business, but wherever they are right now, they're not even soaking up the knowledge that's all around them. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And that's a super big disconnect.
It is. And you know what? That mindset came from my mentor. I remember she told me, when you go to work, you're
Yep.
not working because of what they're giving you or anything like that. Like you going there to build yourself up.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the that I took into any job that I go into, because I don't believe in working jobs that you don't like. I ain't gonna lie to you. Like, I stopped doing that in high school. After I worked at Taco Bueno for the first time, I said, "Yep, it's a no for me, dog.
So
You
no
never
for
catch
me,
me doing
dog.
something." So I stay in my lane. So any job
Absolutely.
that I do work, I do enjoy it. But I know this is not the end goal for me. So I
Yep.
don't care how much I know I can't get too comfortable here, because this is not the end of my journey. It's a part of
Mm-hmm.
it. But again,
Mm-hmm.
mindset of appreciation, because first of all, the reason why you're employed anyway, if you do have a job, is because somebody was crazy enough to bet on themselves. So appreciate the space that you are in for what it
Mm-hmm.
is in it, and think about all the skill sets you can build that's going to help you reach your ultimate goal. So for me, I knew I wanted to get out here, teach poetry workshops, and do educational consulting. So throughout my whole time with the Arts Council, I'm building lucrative relationships with people. I'm learning about the paperwork. I'm looking at other people's programs and how they structure it so that I understand the do's and don'ts when I launch my business. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's just so
Mm-hmm.
door. But if your mindset is in the wrong space, then you never gonna appreciate nowhere you are.
100%.
Nowhere.
100%. 100%. And I think so many people, they just have it all backwards. They just think, oh, let me just go get a check. And yeah, true enough, you do want to get that check and reinvest in yourself and prepare yourself for your business and all that great stuff. But man, there's a lot of skills that you could be getting. And if you're in a place where you feel like there is no skills to be learned, well, then maybe you need to reconsider where you are, especially if you have a goal of hopping off the porch into your own thing. You know what I mean? And so yeah,
Please.
you just man, just that alone we could talk about all day long. But I want to get to the
It
meat of it. I want to get to the meat of it because not only are you educational consultant, it's in all schools all across the country, man, and working with kids of all different backgrounds and races and all this different stuff, and using poetry to truly heal children, and using
is.
arts to heal children to help children be better. But you took that talent that you have for art and for speaking and for networking and bringing people together, and you
Mhm,
created something else, right? You created a sub entity in
mhm.
addition to your art business, right? And so tell people a little bit about Melanin Land, because I don't know if people starting to see it. What kills me every time is when the camera zooms into all these beautiful black women, and you just be looking like, if you look in, and I'm gonna put the video on this so people can see what I'm talking about, and y'all be
Yeah.
looking and y'all just get the clapping and hyping each other up, man. And it's just a beautiful, funny, thing to see, man, because it's dope. So tell people about Melanin Land. What is that?
So the Melanin Land is my women's empowerment organization.
Yeah.
That actually from another organization I started called Hey Sis, which I started a few years ago. But the Melanin Land is a women's empowerment organization where I bring women together and curate spaces for them to be able to feel safe to mingle and network amongst other dope boss women so that they can find what I call their $1 million squad. And that was a term that came
Mhm.
from my friend Tyranny, but she got it from somebody else. I can't think of the woman name, but I'm real big on bringing women together so that they can understand the power that we have as a unit. So the Melanin Land, the women's empowerment organization, where I curate spaces for women to be able to find their $1 million squad. So whether you're looking for a business bestie, an accountability partner, a brunch pal, a content creator friend, a mom friend, whatever you're looking for, I create spaces for you to find it, for you to find
Mhm.
somebody to help you elevate in your professional and personal development. So currently, one of the biggest events that we have now are the melanin events. That's what I call them. But we travel to different states and cities and host a pop-up melanin where women come together. They all dress up in shades of brown. So these beautiful
Mhm.
brown all shades of.
They be fine too.
Thank you. But they dress up in all shades of nude colors, and then we do a big photo shoot, and then in the midst of that, we have Black-owned, female-owned business owners who set up their businesses to be patronized because we love to highlight women doing business, and then we have I have these games set up to where they can network amongst each other. So, the conversation is not awkward and you can be intentional about, what kind of connection you're making while you're in the space. But it's just a dope event. It's a photo shoot because I want you to come and feel pretty. It's a networking event. I want you to come and connect. And then at the end, I always honor the women with roses because I believe every woman, if you were born, you deserve your flowers. So I have some with roses, and it's just always a beautiful experience.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing to see from afar. I really would love to sneak into one and just be a fly on, just be in the back. I don't gotta be in it. I just want to watch, just help. I want to pass out the food or something, you know what I'm saying?
Pass out the flowers.
I got you. Absolutely. Invite me. I'm coming to New Orleans. I'm coming. Oh, my bad. I'm giving the sauce away. We're gonna let you announce that soon.
No, that's cool. What I was gonna go into, I was gonna say, we done did 4 cities. Well, no, not 4 cities. 4 states and 5 cities so far. So we've been to Little Rock, Atlanta, Dallas, Houston, and Memphis. Yep. And this all has been in the span of, let's see, since like May of months. It's been less than a year. We done touched.
You're going crazy.
And we're on big city. So on a Mardi Gras edition, we're doing Melanin in New Orleans on February 4th. Yeah. And I'm excited about that because, like I said, it's the Mardi Gras edition at this place called the Pose Gallery, which is a Black-owned selfie museum. So I'm ready for it.
All my New Orleans followers and ones that support the platform, man. All my Black women, right? Make sure you're in the spot on what's the date on that, Drake?
Hey, February 4th from 12 to 2 p.m. at Pose Gallery.
Yes. February 4th, 12 to 2, Pose Gallery in New Orleans, Louisiana. Make sure you pop up. And if you got a Black wife, you got a Black friend, you got a Black homegirl, Black sister, you need to tell them about it, okay? Make sure you tell them about it. But, Dree, because you see a lot of empowerment events, you see a lot of networking events, you see a lot of this, but you never see a networking empowerment event for Black women in this way. Right? It usually is some type of it's a whole bunch of public speaking involved and about financial literacy. And all that stuff is important. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure you throw that in the mix. But the primary focus is to celebrate these women. What was that moment, or what was that time in your life, or what was that motivation that made you say, you know what? I need to create this safe space for women. And why? Why was that so important to you?
Man, to be honest, my whole women's movement, it bore from a toxic relationship, man. I knew I needed something to help me. I feel like I had people around me to support me, but I had been in such this tumultuous cycle. I'm I feel embarrassed to go talk to my family about the same situation because I keep finding myself doing the same foolish stuff. So I wanted to create something for women so that they feel supported. So when I started my organization, yes, the idea was to provide support for other women, but it was mainly because it's what I needed. And for me, the whole idea of taking pictures, it was because that had became a coping mechanism for me, being able to dress up and feel pretty and take pictures. So I know the power of, dressing yourself up and taking cute pictures and capturing moments in time and how it can be healing. So I'm man, what if I get a whole bunch of other women, we all coordinate and dress up alike, we're the same colors or something like that. We take pretty pictures, and then in the midst of all that, us kicking it, saying, "Hey, yes, girl, you look good." We end up just having, real conversations about what's going on in our lives and with solutions to elevate. So I'm real big on being solution based. So for me, starting the Melanin Land, this women's empowerment movement, it was about providing support, helping women recognize the beauty within themselves, teaching them how to be accountable for their own lives, and just giving them tools and resources to excel, to their highest peak.
Yeah, absolutely. That's so dope. And what's so crazy is that there's somebody at home right now that has a crazy concept that sounds, because I'm sure when you first said that out loud, that I want to do a whole thing around this and actually charge people to be a part of it, you was like, that's crazy. Nobody ain't gonna do that with me. But
Right.
then you filling up rooms with these black women, and it's somebody at home right now that has a great idea, a great concept, a great thing that they want to do, but they sitting on it because they think it's too crazy for somebody to want to pay for it.
Yep.
And
Yep.
you are a walking testimony that, man, if you put a great concept together and you got it structured and you put your idea on paper and make it real, that it can be real.
Definitely. And that whole idea about charging people and that poverty mindset around money, it really stems from childhood too. So I would suggest anybody that's having reservations about doing something because they think somebody won't pay for it or invest in it or put money into it. I really challenge, why is your mindset like that? Why do you operate with that deficit kind of thinking? And once you address that, you can then move forward, because what has to happen in order for you to get over that hump, you have to do it. So even when I did I'm thinking like, oh my God, charging $20 is too much. Then I went to 25, then I started going to 30, then I went to 35, then I said 45. And something, I got a business bestie myself, her name is Jamina Cummins, and something that I challenged her and myself to always do is, whatever we charge for event, whatever number we're comfortable with, we got to add $5 more. Because if you don't do what you're uncomfortable with, you'll never know what your potential is. So I have to,
that's such a word.
I have to keep upping the price, because I got to see, do y'all find it that valuable too? Even though I know sometimes I have doubts. I know I'm providing something that's valuable, but I still sometimes have doubts. But if I don't challenge that doubt, hey, I will never know what I'm capable of.
You'll never know.
And
you know what? It's a negative person out there right now. When they hear this interview, they're gonna be like, because it's always been this status quo. I don't know about you, but just where we from. You know where we from. We from Little Rock, man. And you know how we grew up. And it's like, you've always heard that thing about, well, I heard women always say this in my personal life, where it's like, I don't like to be around women too much. I like being more around boys because women are too messy. Women don't know how to act around each other. They always jealous, or they always envious, or whatever the case may be. Have you seen that problem in this space you've created with women? Have you seen that at all? Like any type of negative energy or any type of anything like that?
now I will say, when we come together, like the space is always like, the energy is infectious. Like it's on 10. I'm gonna search my hashtags right now, man. I can't make this stuff up. People have a great experience, and that's coming from their mouths and what I think. But in this space too, like outside of what I do and just in other areas of my life now, I do see women who are negative, and I think that's just a self thing, and it also derives broken relationships with maybe their mom. Now that's something that I found a very big thing. Like women who don't like to be around other women, it's always because, first of all, they don't like themselves, and second of all, they didn't have a good relationship with their mama. It really blew my mind when I found out that people's mamas, like the mother-daughter relationship dynamic is toxic. Because I didn't experience that with my mama. Like my mama showed me love. She made me feel cute. Like right now, if somebody told me I was ugly, I wouldn't be able to believe it, because my mama always hyped me up. But you got girls who literally have had the experience of having a parent who puts them down or doesn't believe them when they say that something has happened to them, like have had just these tumultuous and broken relationships with their parents. So in return, they don't know how to interact with other women.
Right.
So of course they don't like being around them. So again, in this space, you do have women who are off a little bit, but you got men that are too.
Absolutely. And I think the point you just made shows why this type of space is that much more important. Because even though you are dealing with some substance and you might not like being around women, maybe when you get in this space, you'll realize how much you really do need community. You really do need somebody that you can lean on, and you just never had that before. So give it a chance.
I like that. I like how you spit that. Yeah,
100%.
definitely. This could be space.
100%.
But again, you gotta come with your mind right. I think everything goes to the mindset. Like if your mind is hooked on something that's negative, or you already committed yourself to the belief that all women are bad and negative and catty, then that's all you're ever going to attract. If your mind don't change, guess what? You're going to find a reason to believe the lie you have told yourself, no matter where you are.
You're talking that talk.
Women, you're going to find a reason.
You're going to look for something to be wrong, even if it's something. And a lot of times we fall out with people, and we end relationships and friendships with people over something that really could have been communicated. That could have been worked out. It could have been fixed. It could have been, it could have been resolved. But I think sometimes, like you said, just like we have these negative relationships with our parents and things, we also have never been taught how to, say, you know what, this made me feel some type of way. This did make me feel uncomfortable, but I'm not going to end our friendship over it. Let's talk about it. I'll be honest, I'm one of the first people that, like, when something makes me mad or upsets me, I'm the first person to want to, like, end that relationship or end that friendship. I'm quick to do it, but I'm like, you'll never have any friends if you keep, because it's gonna be some issues.
Yeah.
There's going to be some problems, but I think, being able to be in a safe enough place with other, in my case, black men, but black women, to say, you know what, let's just communicate us. What's the problem?
Yeah.
How can we be better? How can I help you? You know what I'm saying? It's a beautiful thing to have. It's a beautiful thing to have. But so it's 2023, right? You're just started. Everybody got their new goals and resolutions. And so what are some of the goals and things that you really want to see coming to fruition for Melanin Land this year, and for 7 of Arts overall? What are some of the things you want to see coming to fruition for your brands?
So overall, with both my business, I want to see them do 100% plus profit margins.
Okay. Amen.
I want my businesses to grow to multi-million-dollar companies, and specifically for the Melanin Land, my goals are to be sponsored majorly and on a consistent basis by popular, well-known brands, even private investors.
Such as, let's speak into existence. Brands such as, let's tag them. Let's tag them in the video. What brands?
Hey, look, I need Amazon. I need Urban Skin RX. Who I got? AT&T. I want big brands to, really put funds behind what it is that we have going, and just invest in the vision and invest in Black women, because Black women, hey, we the biggest asset here on earth, so why not? Another goal is to host an event in New York, in Los Angeles, and then in May of this year, we'll be having a 3-day conference in Atlanta. Amazing. So right now, there's that thing that I'm manifesting, because I know I got the vision and I got the plan, and we're just gonna execute. That's how I feel. And like, no excuses, only execution. That's how I feel. So for 2023, Melanin is going up. 7 of Arts is going up. And specifically with 7 of Arts, my goal is to work in 5 new states with this business, to work with different youth educators and youth in different parts of the world, and to also work in more school districts here in Arkansas, which is my hometown. So I would love to just do work here, And Z, you know what? I just keep thinking, like, man, you've been really a part of my journey, because now that I'm reflecting, I'm like, dang, when I was teaching,
I've been there every step of the way.
The school, I had you come in and work with them. When I was at the Arts Council, I had you come and do some workshops and judge the competition. And then,
even though I was late for that, y'all, I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that.
Pissed.
She was so mad at me. She was mad at me for about a month. She ain't talked to me for about a month and a half. I used to text her and be like, Drake, she'd be like, what, nigga? Like, what do you want? Like, she ain't fuck with me for about a month after that, man.
This motherfucker, you gonna fight with me? No, I'm just playing.
Man, I overflipped so bad that day. It was so bad. I had just had my little girl, and she keep me up. No excuse, but I was tired. I ain't even I'm blaming on the baby. I ain't gonna blame it on my baby.
For real, you did throw the baby on the bus like that real fast.
I've been there every step of the way, Drake, for real.
But then the last thing too, like when I decided, hey, I'm gonna do this educational consulting thing, for real. I know I'm capable of it, but some things I'm not gonna lie, I haven't done. But I ain't scared to try, because I know I'm gonna do well. But your summer camp, your staff were the first group of people that I worked with before I fully transitioned out of my job. So thank you. I feel like our relationship has been reciprocal. You helped me and I've been helping you. So I'm looking forward to that, just continuing to grow. Like, I can't wait. This video is about to be a part of the documentary. I just know we're gonna have a Netflix.
You just said some viral worthy pieces in here too. So this gonna blow up, man. I wholeheartedly believe that, man. I remember we even talked on the phone, you know, shoot, 2 hours when you were like telling me the vision about it, like what you were gonna do. I mean, before you even quit your job, you was like, hey, this is what I'm finna do. This is what's finna happen. I'm finna be in these schools, woo. And then I looked up, man, and you did it. You know what I mean? And I was like, oh, you finna do that back. Come do my camp first. Come test ride it out and make sure you like it. You know what I'm saying? And you never look back, man. So it's to be commended. You know, like you said, man, I'm gonna push you off the ledge and watch you fly. You know what I mean? Because most people think they're gonna fall, but no, I'm gonna watch you fly. And I think you not only did you say that for other people, but you did that for yourself. And so that's commendable,
Yeah.
man. And it's a beautiful thing. So I want you to leave out on this with them, man. Before we leave, I always do what I call food for thought. So just to that young dreamer, to that young Drekkia out there, to that person that's doing something they don't even really love, but they doing it to be safe, to that person that's afraid to jump, to that person that has this gift and they know they got this gift, but they're not sure how to use it. To those people, what do you say to them, Drake? Like, what do you say to them? What do you want to leave with them? What's that food for thought for those listeners out there? What do you want to tell them? If you need a minute, that's okay. I give you a second. I can do some commercials real quick. I'm gonna do some commercials to just thank my sponsors and all that. And while I'm doing that, you be thinking on that, okay? All right. So
Okay.
yeah, man, this episode was brought to you by Esquire Writing, man, the platform that does all the writing needs that you have, everything from resumes to blogs to ghostwriting for your next book, content curation, and everything else in between, man. That is the brand to take care of you, man. And so yeah, so many special things coming up in 2023 for the brand, for the platform. And if you have questions, if you want to be a guest on the show, if you want to ask Drekkia some questions or anything in between, man, be sure to text our line at 501-529-7324. Again, that's 501-529-7324. All right. Thank y'all, man. All right, Dream, back to you. What's that food for thought that you want to lead the people with?
So, food for thought for any young or somebody skeptical about jumping out there and doing their thing full time. I just want to say that, hey, check this out. Until you walk in what God has ordained for you, somebody else can't follow and walk in what they're supposed to do. So you believing in yourself and following through on your dreams and goals is actually what's going to help somebody else step into theirs. So I want you to just believe in yourself and to try. Don't let fear hold you back, because fear is a liar and a thief, and it will rob you of opportunity if you let it. And if you are afraid of something, that's for a reason. It's because there's something so much greater and bigger on the other side of that fear. But unless you challenge that fear, you'll never know what you are capable of. So I just want to charge you, to the person that's listening to this right now, to give yourself a chance. You believe in everybody else. Why not you?
That's a word,
and if
girl.
God vision, it was for a reason. You are capable. I had this. There's this quote, God, when God gives you a vision, he gives provisions. Some of us be like so worried about the how to and the what's next that we don't even allow ourselves to do the big thing that we want to do. Like for me, the melanin land. For a long time, I sat on the idea of doing a all black event because I was scared of what somebody might think, or that it wouldn't, go over well. Like I was so scared of it until one day I said, damn, I just gotta stop fucking being scared, because what the fuck? Like, this is something that's become an obsessive thought of mine now, and that gotta be for a reason. So when I decided to let that fear go and to not overthink about what could go wrong, I started thinking about what could go right. What could go right? And look at it now. I'm still going and still with the melanin land, but man, the things that we've been able to do in the past 8 months, it ain't nothing but God.
But I think that's the point of this type of platform that I'm trying to build, is to see the stars before they come stars. That's the whole point, because again, I think there are so many amazing people out here that are doing things that we never have a chance to hear about or hear from, right? And I want to be able to, like you said, look back at this in 10 years and 10 years and repost this video and say, I interviewed her before Lynn even became a national brand. That's my dog. I know her. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to be able to say that, not just to brag about it, but to say, like, man, there are so many people that are so talented and so gifted. If you just look at where we are right now, that's not what we're gonna always be. right? And sometimes we
Mm-hmm.
just and we got to do a better job of like Issa Rae said it best. We try to network upwards. We need to network across. We need to network with our own people that's on the same level as us or near us or close to us or in the realm with us, because that's how we're gonna go further. That's how we're gonna end up being where they at. You know what I mean? And so I think this what you gave to people today was the perfect way to pop off this segment, because it's everything that they need to hear. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So man, tell the people how they can find you, how they can follow
Well,
you, how they can learn more about. Go ahead. I'm sorry. What you say?
I was gonna say there was two things that I wanted to recommend for
Yeah,
people
for
to
sure.
and these are some books that really helped me elevate in my mindset. First was Think and Grow Rich,
Yep.
The Science of Money, and there's a book called How to Be a Badass and Stop Doubting Your Greatness by Jen Sincero. Those
Mm,
books are genius. You can listen to them for free on YouTube. Just listen to 30 minutes a day. Well, 15 minutes a day in the morning when you take a shower, or at night when you take a shower. Make it a part of your routine, because
yeah.
what you consume with your ears and eyes determines how you think, feel, and behave. So be
Ooh.
intentional about what you feed your body. And then check out this sermon by Todd Michael. I think that's his last name, but it's
Michael
called
Todd.
Bamboo. Michael Todd. That's his name.
Is it Todd Michael?
His name is that's called the Bamboo Season. No, for real. Look, don't get on me. I'm sorry, Todd. Michael Todd. Pastor said so in this sermon called the Bamboo Season.
Yeah.
He said, "You gotta have crazy faith. That thing that you want is gonna require you to be in a state of delusion, because it's gonna require you to believe in something that you have not seen. But if you are crazy enough to be faithful enough to believe in yourself, man, it's a reward happening for you."
I don't think no better way to end it than that. That's you didn't give food for thought. You gave a buffet for thought. You hear me? You gave them a
Then
whole
the collection.
buffet. Absolutely.
Put my cash. Put my cash up
Absolutely.
my PayPal.
Drop that too. Drop that. I'm gonna put that in the link of the YouTube video. You hear me? Because you talking that talk, man. And I drink is scary, because I know we can sit on here and have a conversation for 2 hours. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it'll never get bored. It'll never get old. You know what I mean? We definitely have to probably do a part 2 just to kind of just talk more about just to show people not so much the business side of you, but the intellect side of you, because I think we can have a conversation about a number of topics and it'll be super juicy and super interesting. So we'll have to do a part 2 soon. But man, tell the people how they can stay in contact with you, how they can follow you, how they can learn more about the events for Melanin Land, how they can even bring you to their school if the right person is listening to that. So yeah, absolutely. So just tell people how they can stay in contact with you and get with you.
Man, so good people, just to make it simple, you can check me out on all social media platforms at Drekkia Writes. If you put Drekkia Writes in the Google search engine, I absolutely will pop up.
Absolutely.
But you can connect me that way. You can email me. You can email me in regards to Seven of Arts or the Melanin Land. And I'll just give you my general email, because I have 2 different business emails. But if you just hit up drekkiawrites@gmail.com, and let me know what it is that you want or need, then let me know, because I'm here. Seven of Arts, an educational consulting company. I work with youth. I teach poetry workshops, and I work with the youth. I mean, not the youth, but the educators on professional development. And then with the Melanin Land, hey, all things Black, beautiful, and woman. Holla at me. If you want me or your state, holla at me. Drekkia Writes at Gmail.
100%. And if you need her to come talk to your beautiful Black women in your audience, she can do that too. Right? There's no in between, no limits to what Drekkia Writes is doing, going to do, and has done. Man, Drekkia, I appreciate you, man. This is gonna be a hell of a way to pop up this new segment we got going, man. And I think somebody's gonna really be able to like pull from this and have some value taken from this, man. So I just appreciate you for gracing us with your presence. You know what I mean? And, What'd you say?
I appreciate you.
Come on, man. You know it's love. You know it's love. And this ain't gonna be the last time, man. But yeah, man, this is Will Z Titwell, man. This is Drekkia Writes, man. You have been tuned into the ZeeSpeaks Podcast, where we talk about real things with real people. And you just met one of the realest today. So man, I appreciate y'all, man. I love y'all, man. Until next time, man. We out. Peace.
Peace.